who's up and coming? What's coming up? We talking television, film, entertainment and such. The hottest topics here.
Welcome back.
Welcome
guys,
back.
Industry School. We have a very special guest. Somebody very special to me, Mr. Frank C.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Radio legend.
Atlanta legend here, you know what I'm saying?
DC?
So, yeah.
No.
DC, Atlanta,
Yeah.
Baltimore.
Baltimore, okay, yeah.
DMV.
From everywhere.
No, I started in DC.
Oh.
Yeah. Get your history. What you mean?
I know. Calm down. Frank, look what Frank brought us.
Look what Frank brought us. And this is our new sponsor, Manan.
Facebook cut you
You're
off.
just joking. Wait, no. Bring the cups. Bring the cups.
Yeah, bring the cups. I don't come empty-handed.
I know.
You know, wine makes friends.
Ah.
This is lesson number 1. You want the deal, you start with
I'm
wine.
telling you, when you work with Frank, he's going to teach you something.
Oh, yeah.
At all times. You're going to learn.
This is golf for black people.
He said when he poured it, he turned it. Frank been doing this for a while.
No, he been doing this for a while.
Look at that. Come on, man.
Hey,
That's classy.
Hey.
I don't know what they do, but it's
Learn it.
Let's do it.
I know y'all want some of this wine.
Yeah.
What is this called?
Menage a trois.
Oh, Lord.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Life, love, happiness. There we go. Yeah.
The industry school.
Do we smell it first? How does it go?
Yeah, do it.
We drink it out of plastic cups.
Yeah.
Drink it.
I like to hold mine like this.
Okay.
Frank!
Hey.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm honored.
Oh.
This is so dope.
You like it?
And you ain't even tell me.
I mean...
She's worked for me forever.
Forever.
She knows all my secrets. You didn't even tell me.
That's why I was like, Frank, you gotta come.
Yeah.
You gotta come.
I've been following him around town. Anytime I hear he's DJing somewhere else, okay, I gotta hit that spot because I'm telling you, man, nobody lights up a club in Atlanta like you.
Thank you, man.
Nobody.
Thank you.
No,
Thank
Frank know what he's
man.
doing. He will get you on that dance
Some
floor,
way or another.
sweating.
Some way or another.
And this is the hardest thing in the world to get people on the dance floor now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
I had my birthday party at Opium this March, and when I tell you, shut it down, man.
Oh, Frank was playing at your birthday?
He was there that night, and I'm telling you, all my people, we were up in that section, up in the, where your booth is, up in the corner.
Yeah.
In that section, man, we just had the livest time, man.
Yeah, it's a great
going.
time.
How long you been doing this, Frank?
Long time.
Do you ever want to retire? Is it just something that's in your
You know what?
soul?
The only thing is that it's harder to keep up with the music because it comes out so fast. And so it's harder for, to keep up with the music if you're not younger. Then the other part of it is that, the younger generation doesn't really like to dance. And I like to play for people that like to dance.
That's true. They don't dance no more.
Yeah,
they
don't
just
dance.
flexing.
Yeah,
It's
well,
about the look.
Yeah. It's cool. Like dancing is not cool anymore. Where dancing was cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if you're from a city up north. Like you gotta have dance moves.
Absolutely.
You wasn't getting none.
Yeah, no, you're
Right.
right. You're right. We grew up in a time when we had background dancers in groups and stuff. They don't
You
have
had to learn how to dance, and then you have to slow jam too.
Yeah.
That's the only way you was gonna get it. Yeah.
Really,
I grew up in a time when you went and asked the girl to dance.
So I make sure, like in all my sets, I will play some slow music. Some just for whatever, just to be different.
Wow.
Whatever. Yeah.
Bring that back.
So I guess the other thing is it's harder when you get older. It's harder to recoup because I used to be able to DJ a party, leave the party, go get cleaned up, and go right to the morning show, and then do the morning show.
Wow.
Oh my God.
But now, I can do that. But now I need like 2 or 3 days to recoup. But before I just needed like an afternoon to recoup. Some Gatorade to keep it moving.
Right.
Some Pedialyte, keep it going.
The older you get, it is.
So so it's harder to recoup. That's all.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So you went to DC for a couple years recently.
Yeah.
How is it different from Atlanta?
Well, DC is not the same DC it used to be. So DC was the black city in America. It was Chocolate City. But DC has gotten so gentrified that it's not Chocolate City anymore.
Right.
So it was a little difficult because I had to come back on the weekends because my kids had events and sports and everything. So being there during the week, and I lived in the city, I honestly would go to a different restaurant every night, to have dinner, like sit at somebody's bar, and literally it'd be me and one other black person in the restaurant.
Stop.
Wow.
Yeah, outside of like
DC.
1 or 2 restaurants. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And this is even before Trump.
Yeah, it was because DC now the city changes so fast. So with every administration, like half of the city changes. People leave, new people come in. So every headquarters is there for every business, every organization. So everything is related to the government there.
So you didn't like it up there this time?
I didn't really like it as much because I wasn't able to really be there and like move out to the county with my people and then be there on the weekend. So it just wasn't Yeah, but I did what I had to do and came back.
So we got to talk about what's going on now. Like, we got to get your thoughts, Frank. What is going
when I first
on?
moved to Atlanta, man, you on the radio here. You and Wanda was on the radio in the mornings here. And you do the Inspiration Vitamin every morning and everything else. So I feel like I grew up, you know, in this market here. Right. When I got here, I was in my 20s. So, you know, really just watching, you know, you kind of... you were the dominant force here. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? For sure. So I think that now with so much going on, what is your voice? What is your opinions about what's happening now?
Well, let's start with 45.
Oh, you know, I think that everybody is shocked at him. Mm-hmm. You know, most people are shocked at him. The people who aren't shocked at him were the people that have been waiting for somebody like him for so long, just to raise their head. Mm-hmm. But most of the people that voted for him realize that he's just not what they expected. But, you know, the problem is we didn't have enough candidates in there that were worthy of doing it. You know what I mean? So we had candidates that had their own baggage. I mean, it's very rare. It's very rare you meet somebody like a Barack Obama that had no baggage. You know, that had no baggage, like no history. You know, that was squeaky clean and just was educated and came from being the president of the Harvard Review and stuff. I mean, he was a smart guy. So whether white or black, it's very rare you see those kind of people now. You know, but Trump has opened the door now for everybody to realize that you don't have to be in politics to run, and you don't have to be the smartest person. You know, you just have to. And social media has changed the game in every industry. That really everything is just all about the picture you paint. And if you can paint a good enough picture and get people to believe you, they will believe you.
Wow. So you think he just duped everybody?
I do. I think he just duped everybody. Yeah, he had some help from the Russians, and you know, I mean, you know, when you get that kind of help, I mean, what is Facebook saying? 100,000 ads were bought, fake ads were bought. You know, that's just on Facebook, 100,000 or more. So I mean, you know, when you have that kind of power, and there's a reason for that, which we probably won't even know yet. So,
film department that.
Great film department.
The mayor put in, you know, I hope they don't take that away.
No, they're not. It's too much money for the city.
Okay.
Well,
too much money.
It's not a 10-year contract.
Yeah, too much money. Yeah. So what else you want to know?
Let's talk about. Let's switch gears.
Last time I saw you in Aruba, man.
Soul Beach, Soul Beach.
You do that every year.
Did you get to spend a lot down there?
Yeah, I spent a lot down there. I'm actually going to be at the Sand and Soul Festival. I didn't know that's Steve Harvey's big weekend next weekend in the Bahamas. So I like to travel, get free vacations.
Let's talk about.
You feel like Atlanta's changed at all? We're talking about how the situation in DC is. Do you feel like Atlanta's starting to see some of that downturn?
I think Atlanta has changed, and I think what we're going to start seeing is that people, I feel that in a short period of time, people are going to start rebelling against social media. Like, social media is not going to be as cool as it is. That's what I think.
I don't know, Frank.
Yeah, I just think, I mean, what I mean by that is the fakeness in which some of these promoters and people that do events do. Like, they post these pictures from old parties and they say that was this party, or they, you know, they got these empty rooms and you know, stuff like that, and people are going to stop looking for that. I think people do want to be able to go out and have a good time, and they're rebelling against money. Like, you know, they used to charge crazy money to get in clubs. They're rebelling against that. They used to charge crazy money to park cars. They're rebelling against
we know
that.
That was
you know, but there's just a lot of that people don't want. So they're going to these lounges and other places where they don't have to pay that much, and it's free to get in, and it's not so expensive.
Pay to drink.
Yeah, so that's where it's going to go to. So how that will end up, I don't know.
Let's talk about Cardi B.
Yes.
Her rise. I mean,
she's everything right now.
What do you like Bodak Yellow?
Well, you know what's interesting? I sat on a panel day before yesterday. I sat on a panel for the Atlanta Business League.
Okay.
And it was the women's conference, and I sat on a panel, and the conference was talking about you know, how to be relevant in these new times. And it's a panel of men in a room full of women. And we started talking about the obstacles that women have in the workplace. Okay. And the CEO of MARTA said that women are their own worst enemies. That women don't want to work for women. That women don't like working for other women. And that is the thing that keeps women from being in management positions, because other women don't like pushing up other women. And so he started saying that, and I said, you know, it's ironic that the #1 song in America which is the most ratchet song out right now, right? By a person whose background, you know, I love her because she came up, but at the end of the day, it's her, right? Mm-hmm. And who is she talking to? She's not talking to men. The whole song is her dissing other women, saying you not like me, you can't be me. Yeah. And there's women in the club singing it to each other.
That's deep. That's deep. No, that's deep.
True.
So it's just the mentality of which, you know, I'm a firm believer in spiritual. So if you talk it enough, it becomes part of you. If you say it, that's who you are. If you say it, that's who you are.
But
if you sing the lyrics, that's who you are.
And she comes from that reality.
That's her reality.
She always, even on social media, she like, yo, y'all.
But that's her reality.
Yeah,
and that's the point. But the point is, it's not. When I go to the club and I'm playing in a club like Opium that's 25 to 40, and all the women are singing every word of the song. Yeah. It ain't their reality, but they're making it their reality.
That's true.
So when they go out now, they're like, oh, let me take a second look at these Louboutins and these red bottoms, and okay, I'm gonna wear these but you know, at the end of the day, you know, I've always said women, you know, when they go to work, they don't dress for us. They dress in, you know, because other women gonna talk about them.
Yeah. Well, doesn't that come? Like, some people can determine the difference between reality and entertainment. Like, I know that half these rappers, what they talk about is just talking, but the younger generation, they're like, really eat this up.
And they'll do whatever they got to do to go out.
Right, I know.
It's not that you don't believe it.
I know better.
Your alter ego believes it. That's who believes it.
Okay.
Your alter ego believes ego. And what happens is when you get with your boys and you get a little bit of liquor and you rolling, you become that alter ego.
That's true.
And, you become that alter ego. Yeah, you might not flex in it right there, but you become that alter ego. If somebody dropped $1 million on you today, you go out and buy half that stuff that you've been rapping in them songs. You wouldn't be like, nah, I don't believe that. No, you'd be like, you know what? That card does kind of fly. Yeah. You know, you go out and get
it right back.
I get a couple of things, but I'm old enough to know I need to get some real estate as well and invest in some things. And I mean, speaking of that, like you used to have a restaurant here. I mean, are you getting back into that?
No, never again. Never again.
What's the problem?
But that was your dream, though.
Restaurants are tough, man.
But you know, my dream was to create a place that I could play and do what I wanted to do. The restaurant became the opportunity, and I thought I could do it, but I wasn't. I should have learned more about the business. And the only part about the business that nobody that I knew could teach me, and this is the interesting thing, I went to all of the big white-owned restaurant owners and had meetings with them all. And they mentored me through the process. But they could never tell me how to deal with black people and how black people would deal with black owners. Wow. Which is a whole nother realm. Wow. So, for instance, somebody will come to Frank Ski's and complain because they don't have a reservation and it's a 45-minute wait. And they'll write on Yelp and they'll talk bad about me and they'll bitch and complain and they'll be at the front causing a scene. But they'll go to Houston's next door that doesn't take reservations and they'll wait an hour and 15 minutes and never say anything bad. Wow. And that is the epitome of, you know, how our people... I'll tell you one thing, and this is going to blow your mind. So, and you were there. So one night, when the restaurant was, you know, it was crazy and it was getting overwhelming, I hired a consultant. So I hired this older white gentleman who's Italian, and he's got this big personality from New York, and he's Italian and white. And I said, look, meet me at 8 o'clock, because it's going to be the height of dinner, and I want you to walk in at the height and just tell me what you see, and whatever, 8 o'clock. I said, okay. So I get there at 7:30, I'm sitting at the bar waiting for him. 8 o'clock comes, he doesn't come. It's not like him to be late. 8:10, 8:15. I finally go walk around, go to the front. You see this white guy come in? Maybe no. Do you see what? No. 8:30. He comes from inside the kitchen. He had been there since 6:30. Not one person in the restaurant asked him, "Who the hell are you?"
Oh wow.
Not one.
Because he's a white man.
Because he was white. Marinate on that. Marinate on that, and then tell me if you want to do that business. Marinate on that. Because that's the reality of when you having these workers and everybody there, they see somebody white just walk in, they think they're supposed to be there, or somebody of authority, or it's the city, or nobody said nothing to him. Nobody said nothing to him. So it was that's a deep thing that if you marinate on that deep enough, you'd be like, wow. Now let some black person just walk off the street and walk. No, security would have stopped. Yo, where you going? What you do?
You're right.
White guy just walk right in. And was in the kitchen going through shit.
Nobody said nothing.
Behind the grill, telling him what to do, checking stuff. Yeah, everything.
Wow.
Everything. That's
deep.
Yeah,
that's deep. Yeah, as a black entrepreneur myself, I know exactly because we get challenged different from our own people.
Yeah, we get challenged different.
And it's just because we're.
It's we feel comfortable.
Yeah, people feel comfortable.
They don't mean crap on us too. You know what I'm saying? You should be uplifting us.
But you know the other thing is, and this is my lesson out of it, is that in most businesses, if you want to become the CEO of most businesses, you have to have a certain amount of education. Right. You just can't become the CEO, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say you want to become a lawyer, you're going to, college, grad school, law school. You're working for free for a long period of time as interns and everything else, right? Mm-hmm. Doctor, same thing, 16 years. You want to be a specialist, 16 years. Like, people, black folk, we always want to skip that process. We always feel that we can see somebody else do it, and then we be like, oh, I can do it.
Put me on.
Oh, I see what they doing. Oh, I can do that.
Easy.
It's easy. Yeah. But the education you need to make those split decisions and important things and things to look at, we didn't have. And I didn't have. Mm-hmm. And I should have learned more because it would have helped me with the business. Right. Even though it was good and we had a great time and a great run, still I could have done things better.
I threw a birthday party there once. I'm always, wherever you at, I'm throwing a birthday party. I threw a birthday party there one time, man.
So what's the best part of entertaining black people?
The best part of entertaining, they're your people. Nobody has fun like we do. Nobody has fun like we do. And I enjoy it. It's just something I enjoy doing, entertaining people.
What's up with Doodoo Brown?
Interesting enough.
He coming back?
No, interesting enough, Chris Brown just sampled Doodoo Brown.
Oh,
and sent the song in for clearance. So hopefully it's something. So for everybody who wants to do music, lesson number 1, never sell your rights. And it's a very easy to do that people will. Even with like the Wobble, it came out and like 5 years later it became huge. Yeah. And Doodoo Brown has been 20 years and it's been sampled and played and all of those songs that I've done. And what happens is, as long as I retain the writers, like I wrote it and did it, and I own that, anybody else that wants to use it, I get half. Yeah. They pay and I get half.
Wow.
Ooh.
So, like when you see the Grammys and they do like record of the year, it's a lot of times it ain't the artist going out there to get it. It's all them behind the scenes people going to get it that wrote it. Because
so how did the Doodoo Brown song come about? Had you done some other songs before that? And
so the way that song came about, I was on the air, I was a mixer, and I would, back in those times when this fast music was coming out, we would take loops and samples and make beats and just play them. So I had this beat of this 2 Live Crew song that I sampled and would play it, on my show, and then somebody stole it out of my locker at the radio station. So just like black person, I'm mad, I'm huffing and puffing, somebody broke in my locker, and I called my mentor at the time, and he said, don't be mad. He said, can you redo it? And I said, yeah. He said, well, this time redo it and then sell it. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. So I redid it, and then I couldn't just sell the beat, so I had to put a song together. And one weekend I just sat there and just wrote it and went in the studio and had fun, made it, and put it out. And it was a great experience doing it, but nowadays it's so much easier to do it because making music doesn't cost any money. Putting music online doesn't cost any money. Putting music on, iTunes or wherever or YouTube doesn't cost money. It's harder to make. You don't make as much, but you don't lose as much. So quick lesson, right? So let's say I make the song. Whatever it costs me to make the song, that's my charge, right? And then I want to put it on a 12-inch vinyl so DJs can play it. So the vinyl is going to cost me $1 to make. But then I got to make the plate in order for them to press the vinyl. And then after a few hundred pressings, they need a new plate. So I got to make a bunch of plates that cost $300. Then you got to get the covers and the labels. So now it's costing you it's costing you $2 to make it, right? And then you give it to a distributor, and the distributor is going to sell it for $5, right? So the distributor is going to give you $5, but the distributor distributed to a store. The store has 90 days to pay the distributor. Distributor has 90 days to pay you. So it's a half a year before you get your money back. So the first order on Doodoo Brown was $10,000. So it cost me $10,000+ to put the records out. The next week order was $20,000. So now I'm $30,000 and I'm not getting my money back for a half a year.
Oh.
Then before you know it, I'm $50,000 and $60,000 in, and I can't. Like, where's my money coming in?
Right.
Like, where's the money? So now people are advancing me money, but they charging me to advance me the money. So now you're pressing 500,000 of them. So then when you press the 500,000, you might only sell another 100,000. So now you lost.
You needed a record label.
Oh yeah. So I did. I had the record label, and then I sold the rights to distribute it to somebody else who jerked me for a lot of money.
Yeah.
Welcome to the record business.
Right. It's so different now. So what about NFL? You taking a knee? What do you feel about that?
So here's my thing, and you said it earlier. My whole problem, and I said this on the radio the other day, is there was no clear emphasis on what we were doing, why we were doing it, and how long we were going to do it. And I think that now a lot of our black folk are so emotional that we're jumping on these causes without knowing how and why and how long we're going to do it for, right? So, you know, when they did the Montgomery bus boycott, they knew they weren't going to change until black folk had the right to sit wherever they wanted to be on the bus. So the thing was, black people were not going to ride the bus. That was it.
Right.
And for all of that time, no black person rode the bus.
That's true.
So if old black people needed to get somewhere, young black people took them. Nobody rode the bus until they lost so much money that they were like, okay. When they changed the rule, then black people started riding the bus again. So my thing is, are we taking the knee because we want Kaepernick to get a job? Are we taking the knee because black people are getting mistreated, which is what Kaepernick took the knee for in the first place? How long are we going to take the knee? And what do we want at the end?
Right. What do we want?
What do we want at the end?
It's not clear.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not clear. Not that we shouldn't do it, but that's just not clear.
Now who's up and coming? What's coming up? We talking television, film, entertainment and such. The hottest topic, yeah, we got it in the clutch. Sport.